How's it going, everybody? Gryphon has a special place in the heart of this community, so making videos about him is certainly something that should be considered thoroughly. You don't want to say something that might cause a wave of outrage coming your way. But despite that fact, Gryphon has always been a walking dichotomy from the very beginning. His visual design should be one of the most appealing for a big portion of players. And with that I mostly mean knight players. The Greek or Roman styled armors should be a wet dream for most, especially considering how many people want a Spartan hero in the future. If it wasn't for the fact that he was so hated in the beginning and ever since he's been carrying that stigma around, he should be one of the favorites. His pick rate should be quite high simply because of the aesthetics, but is held back because players might consider you toxic for picking him. Which is, let's be honest here, an absolute insane statement. Let me make this very clear, you are not toxic for picking any hero. You are not toxic for simply using a hero's moveset. This is simply a weak-minded player that is spouting an absolute asinine idea. Only the player themselves can be toxic, never an in-game character. So please don't let anybody else influence you in what you think you can play and what the community is forbidding you to play, so to speak. But yeah, that just as a quick tangent. So why am I even bringing all of this up? Because when a game receives big sweeping changes, the viability of a character will fluctuate. And naturally, you will have big winners and big losers. I've already shown you with Jean-Hu, who is in my eyes the biggest winner of these changes, but Gryphon is not that far behind. And people might be hesitant to pick him up again because of that old stigma. I don't know how much context I need to give, but I'll give you a brief summary of the balanced states of Gryphon since release. When he came out, the main reason he was considered so strong were his feats. Heal amounts, damage, cooldowns, all of that insanely strong. That was why he was picked in competitive the first few weeks, but that was not the reason why the community quickly developed an insane hate boner for him. Damage was on the higher end, the dodge attack dodged too much, and the fact that damage-wise the bash mix-up was inverse rubbed many people the wrong way. I mean, everyone remembers the outrage and following nerfs to the hero. Most of them undeserved, but something had to be done to calm down the masses. Suffice it to say, Gryphon eventually ended up as an absolute dumpster fire. Combine that with the Gryphon equals monkey meme responses every time you saw one picked, not many people even viewed him as a potential choice at all. Basically bullied into not picking him. Kids certainly can be cruel. But since he wasn't that strong, people didn't really mind all that much either. At least that's what I'm assuming. It might be different now though. Not only has he gotten some small buffs prior to the dodge TG implementation, he also benefited from them quite a bit. A few weeks ago his forward dodge light got the enhanced property, meaning the combo will not stop if the attack gets blocked. And since Gryphon has some moves that skip one step in the chain, this made it easier to get into kick as well as armored finisher heavies. And I will talk about those finisher heavies a lot more in just a bit. So while this small change might not be that huge, it certainly helped. Both the bash as well as the dodge light can mix people up. It's not undodgeable or anything, but it's also not totally useless. But other than that, why did these big changes help him? At first glance you'd think that his dodge attack was nerfed, since it's a light parry now. But the delay window actually gave it new, or rather its old life back, because Gryphon had a delayable window when he first released. It just got taken away since, you know, dodge attack spam. And now since that is back, all the other properties shine way more. A significant amount of iframes on the dodge attack itself, which can be preceded by iframes already when delayed properly. Also, it has a big hitbox that can clip multiple people when target swapping it correctly, and then the previously mentioned skipping of chains. The dodge attack goes straight into the huge finishes, as well as the kick, both of which can also be target swapped. So, two huge hitbox attacks that both went up in value. Alright, so why are the side finisher heavies better now? In theory, people should adapt and dodge attack less, right? That is the whole premise everyone keeps selling me those TG changes on. Dodge attacks are more punishable, so people will do them less and stop spamming them. In return, they will empty dodge more against bash mix-ups, since a GB punish is less than a light parry punish in most cases. If this is not the case, then the TG changes failed. But if people indeed empty dodge more, then the now missing guard during dodges no longer protects against the big sweeping side heavies. This elevates the bash mix-up into having 3 different viable attack options: the undodgeable, the kick, as well as the side heavies, and each one beats different options. I'll let the math geniuses figure out whether it's a 50-50 or not. But 2 of them are high damaging options. Damage numbers have been creeping up lately, and despite these not changing, them landing more often now certainly lowers the TTK a little. But aside from all that, Gryphon always offered a lot to a team with his feats. I am sounding like a broken record player sometimes, but it's a repeating thing, that feats elevate or sometimes even ruin a hero. In Gryphon's case, he has amazing support feats. 3 AoE heals that cleanse bleed and fire. 2 damage sources that have been quite common for a long time now. And one of these feats is quite underrated and not talked about all that much since it's only on him and Highlander. And people usually pick Spearstorm on Highlander. But Champion's Aura is insanely good. It's a 12 meter radius and heals 100 HP over the duration of those 30 seconds. 30 seconds that make your whole team immune to fire and bleed. And you also can't get away from it. You cannot shift the fight into a position in the same way as you can against the banner. The aura follows the character. But yeah, this is probably the strongest Gryphon has been in a long time. I expect to see him quite a bit more in matchmaking nowadays, and he should be able to hold his own now and not just be a heal battery like before. So if you're ever interested in him, now's the best time to put a few reps on him. Let me know if I forgot anything or if anything's unclear. Also, please let me know if you're interested in more of these kind of videos highlighting which character benefited from the changes or even took a massive L. You can also ask in the Discord, link is down below, and while you are at it, click all the other things as well, like the subscribe button, the like, and you know, all that shit. Having said that, I hope the video was helpful. Thanks for watching. Laters, everybody. Do we have Oathbreaker? Oh yeah, we do.
Of course.
Yo, he flipped.